Sawadee Krap, I'm JP Mestanza. Welcome to Phuket Extra, brought to you by pvcphuket.com. The Treasury Department has officially handed over more than 141 rai of land in Mai Khao at the northern end of Phuket to the Ministry of Public Health so that an international medical center can be built at the site. Deputy Prime Minister Prawit Wongsuwan presided over the ceremony held yesterday at the Ministry of Finance headquarters in Bangkok. The land is expected to be used for a medical service center aimed at elevating health tourism to Phuket as part of plans to turn this island into a medical destination post-COVID-19. Part of the plot has also been entrusted to Vashida Phuket Hospital for the creation of international standard facilities called the International Health Plaza. The development is also to include an international geriatric care center, a hospice care center, a Jairak Center for heart conditions, and the establishment of a comprehensive physical rehabilitation center as well. Officials say construction will take 2 years. For more, visit thephuketnews.com. More COVID-19 cases were confirmed today by officials to be connected to the same place, Dachilek, Myanmar, just over the border from Chiang Rai province in the north, as 2 more Thai women snuck back across the border, bypassing quarantine and immigration. Earlier this week, we learned that at least 10 women had, on separate occasions, snuck back across the border to Thailand after working in Dachilek, Myanmar. Some for a month, others for more, and all of them worked at the same place, the 1G1 Hotel brothel. An outbreak of COVID had occurred there, and officials say that the women were trying to evade the mandatory quarantine to get back to their home country here in Thailand, some of whom went to local shopping malls, bars, festivals, did a little traveling, and other venues, and officials say they had been scrambling to find and test all of the people who may have been at risk. Now, all of those women tested positive. Earlier today, officials confirmed that 2 more women had taken a plane to Bangkok, with others on that same flight testing positive as well after experiencing symptoms. The whole thing has highlighted how infectious the virus can be and how difficult it has become to control the spread of the virus once a few unknown cases are out and about. Now, let's talk about Phuket, as officials today confirmed that the Myanmar woman who fled a hospital in neighboring Phang Nga province to avoid a COVID-19 test earlier this week, and she was later found in Phuket, well, she tested negative for COVID-19. She will now be in quarantine at a government hospital for 14 days, according to officials, although it's unclear what will happen to her after that, since she admitted to police that she entered Thailand illegally 3 months ago and had been working at a local market in Phuket, also illegally. No mention was made about any legal action being taken. Officials tried to calm fears of a potential outbreak in Phuket, saying measures are in place to find any immigrants from neighboring countries who illegally enter Thailand without going through the COVID-19 prevention measures, as cases in Myanmar are up again today by over 1,400, with a total of 95,018 cases and over 2,000 deaths there. Meanwhile, Malaysia to Thailand's south had over 69,000 cases and over 370 deaths. Cambodia to Thailand's southeast has 335 reported cases and no deaths. Laos has reported only 39 total COVID cases, no deaths as well. Meanwhile, here in Thailand, officials reported 14 new cases of COVID today, raising the total to 4,053. 95% of all patients have recovered. No new deaths. Earlier this week, the Constitutional Court in Bangkok cleared Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha of any wrongdoing for still living in army residence, having his bills paid and everything, despite being premier. It got protesters up in arms, and now the Constitutional Court is seeking prosecution against a student protest leader over statements he made on Facebook following the court's ruling. Wednesday's proceedings were brought forth by the opposition parties in Parliament, claiming that it was a conflict of interest for the Prime Minister to occupy the army residence, but the Constitutional Court ruled in his favor, saying that did not violate the Constitution. In the wake of the ruling, protesters held a rally in Lat Phrao in Bangkok, in which they staged a play poking fun at the court over its ruling, and even burned judges' effigies and more. Protest leader Paret Chiwarak, known as Penguin, he spoke at the rally and later made Facebook posts expressing his opinions on the ruling. Now, the Constitutional Court Litigation Office filed charges against Penguin with police over the post, claiming it was defamatory to the court and tarnished its reputation. They're also looking into what charges they could press against Penguin in regards to his speech at the rally, and into all burning as well. Meanwhile, activists yesterday rallied at the Cambodian embassy in Bangkok to mark the 6-month anniversary of the disappearance of government critic Wanchalom Saksakit, who was living in exile in Phnom Penh earlier this year and was seen on CCTV footage being abducted by men clad in black and shoved into a vehicle, never to be seen or heard from since. For more, visit thephuketnews.com. Phuket Extra will be right back after this. Welcome back to Phuket Extra. The family behind the central group of shopping malls that are on all corners of Thailand, the Chirativat family, they've fallen out of the top 10 in Bloomberg's rankings of Asia's richest, wealthiest families. The rankings were released earlier this week and list the top 20 richest families in all of Asia, not including heads of state, first-generation wealth, and those in the hands of a single heir. The fourth-generation Chiavanot family, who own CP Group or Charompakpan, which has everything from 7-Eleven to True Corp and Macro, among other businesses, and they even bought Tesco Lotus chain in the last year. They are still in third place in all of Asia, meaning they're also listed as the wealthiest family in Thailand with a reported wealth of $31.7 billion. It's the same spot they were in the last rankings, although they did lose about $6.2 billion year on year. The second-generation Uvidya family were listed as the 6th richest family in all of Asia and the second wealthiest in Thailand. They're the people behind the Red Bull fortune, known as Krating Dang in Thailand, as well as a pharmaceutical company. Their estimated net worth, according to Bloomberg, is over $24.2 billion. And then we have the fourth-generation Chirativat family, which fell 11 spots from 9th down to 20th this year, making them the third richest family in Thailand, with their wealth estimated at $12.9 billion. The Chirativat family owns Central Group, the massive shopping mall chain here in Thailand, which this year in February had launched Thailand's biggest ever IPO, giving it a market cap of around $8.1 billion at the time. But Bloomberg reported that losses year on year has seen them cut their wealth down by $7.4 billion. Still, according to Coconuts Bangkok, Thailand's top 1% holds 56% of all property nationwide. In the number one spot on the list, the third-generation Ambani family of India, owners of the large conglomerate that owns the world's largest oil refining complex, they have an estimated $76 billion. They are clearly in the lead in Asia with double the wealth of the number 2 ranked family, the third-generation Kwok family of Hong Kong, whose real estate development empire brings in $33 billion. For more, visit thephuketnews.com. The Toys for Joy donation drive is still going on here in Phuket, with organizers collecting new unwrapped toys to distribute as gifts to the less fortunate children on the island. You could take part in the drive until December 16th by donating an unwrapped toy for kids aged between 3 to 12 years old at any of the Toys for Joy collection boxes all across Phuket. The list on your screen is where many of these collection boxes can be found, and you have until December 16th to donate an unwrapped gift, which will be handed out to the less fortunate children just a few days later. To learn more about this annual toy drive, visit the Toys for Joy Thailand page on Facebook. The Phuket office of the Ministry of Commerce plans to relaunch its monthly commerce market next year to help vendors sell household necessities and consumer products at cheap prices. The commerce market is well known under the banner of the Blue Flag Markets, providing vendors a place where overheads are greatly reduced so they can pass on the discounts to customers. The Blue Flag campaign concluded late last year, but was relaunched in June of this year under a new banner, Commerce Market Against COVID-19, and continued until the end of September, generating over 3.3 million baht in revenue, according to officials. It will now return for 8 more weekends starting in January, according to officials on Sutat Road in Phuket town, held over 2 days each month for 8 months. For more, visit thephuketnews.com. Phuket Rajabat University has launched a campaign to collect donations of money and essential household goods to help people affected by the floods in Nakhon Si Thammarat province. The severe floods in 9 provinces in the south have killed 7 people, 4 of them in the worst hit Nakhon Si Thammarat, officials say, and about 150,000 rai of farmland was devastated in that province, destroying 12,000 rai of aquatic animal farms as well. The floods have also affected the provinces of Suratani, Patani, Narathiwat, Patalung, Trang, and Songkhla. Those interested in donating to those affected by the floods can do so at Phuket Rajabat University's Student Development Division in the Student Affairs Building 1 or call any of the numbers below. For more, visit thephuketnews.com. Thank you for watching again. Phuket Extra today brought to you by pvcphuket.com. For safe, secure, and soundproof windows, visit pvcphuket.com. Tomorrow is Father's Day. It's also National Day here in Thailand, so we want to wish you a happy Father's Day out there to all the people who are watching. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back on Monday with all the news you missed. Until then, stay classy, Phuket.
คุณมองเห็นอะไรไหมครับถ้ามองไม่เห็นเดี๋ยวเราจะย้อนภาพให้ดูทีละมุมถ้ามองจากรถที่อยู่ด้านหน้าคุณจะเห็นชายขี่มอเตอร์ไซค์ตามมาด้วยความเร็วปกติถ้ามองจากคนที่นั่งอยู่ข้างทางคุณจะเห็นชายขี่มอเตอร์ไซค์ผ่านไปด้วยความเร็วปกติแต่ถ้ามองจากคนที่ขับรถตามหลังมอเตอร์ไซค์คันนี้มันติดไม่มีไฟท้ายก็เหมือนไม่มีคุณอยู่บนถนนตรวจสอบไฟท้ายให้ใช้งานได้อยู่เสมอ